Hello everyone, we're here at week 4, which is almost halfway through the term in Science 200, and you will be turning in your rough draft for your project this week. Let's see what we've got going on. All right, last week you found some sources. You found hopefully 3 really good articles, scientific articles about your topic, and you gathered information from those. And I like how some of you said, well, the jargon is very difficult in these scientific articles, and that is true. You have to look up terms, you have to figure out what acronyms are and all that sort of thing. But hopefully you found 3 really good sources to start working on your project. We'll see. We'll see, especially this week, as you try to go about answering your question. All right, also read chapter 4. Work through the exercises. This week is all about scientific communication and how that happens. And we've already talked about how it happens, how scientific work is published. But when you read an article, you should evaluate it as to whether it is scientific, whether it's a news article, whether it's a general information article for the general public. So you have to evaluate that when you look at an article. And you're going to decide who your audience is. And with that being said, you have to figure out how to convey your information to your audience. Is your audience a group of scientists who know about this topic? Is your audience the general public? Is your audience a group of 7th grade middle schoolers? You know, you have to figure out who your audience is and present the information appropriately. So first of all, levels of science communication. That goes everything from one end of the scale to the other. So one end of the scale is journal articles that are written by scientists for scientists. For example, I'm published in the journal Electrophoresis. You've never heard of that. You will never hear of that. You will not read it ever. But scientists who do this particular technique read this journal, and that's the one that I'm published in for that particular work. So it's very specific information for scientists in that discipline. So that's at the top end, and then you go all the way to the bottom end where you have news articles, and then you got everything in between. And a news article is going to be sensational a lot of the time because they've got to grab the interest of the public in order for you to stop and read it. And boy, is that more true now than ever. How do you get your news now? Apple News, CNN, Fox News, you know, I don't know how you get it, but just in little snippets, right? So they have to grab your attention. News articles also tend to be balanced. Well, they try to be sometimes anyway, balanced. So both sides of a point of view. But in science, that isn't always how it works. So, for example, with global warming and climate change, more than 95% of all scientists agree that human activity is causing the average temperature of the globe to increase every single year. And that is going to cause very harmful side effects in the biosphere. So how can you balance that? Okay, you're going to have a few skeptics, but if almost the entire population of scientists agrees on this, then that's really not a balanced question that we're asking. So anyway, in between journals and news articles, you have sources like Scientific American. I love that they give you this example in the Sumo web text because Scientific American is an excellent resource if you can find your particular topic in an article that they have written. So it is science communicated to the general public by a science writer who is really good at conveying the information from all these journal articles that we've already talked about. One other thing that I mentioned in our discussion from week 3 is to check out review articles, because a review article is where a scientist sits down and compiles data from different scientific sources, puts those together in a way that is more easily read. So review articles are awesome too. So there is everything in between journals and news articles, and those are really helpful even to the general public. So you're going to be working on your topic this week. You're going to turn in your rough draft. Make sure you check your feedback. I sent you an email this week. Check your feedback on your questions so that you can modify these. I make comments and suggestions on almost everyone's question. So don't think that I picked on you because I didn't. I would say I might have had 5 out of 33 that I didn't make suggestions on. So go back and read that feedback and change your question, modify it to make it a good researchable question. You're going to turn in your rough draft this week, including those sources that you've looked up. If those don't work, if you looked at them again and they don't work, find some more. That's all right. That's what this whole process is about. Make sure that your sources are what have you already learned about? Relevant and credible. Relevant, meaning it has to do with your particular topic that you have asked this question about, right? And credible, what kind of source is it? Where did it come from? Is this from an expert? Is this an opinion piece? That's not a good source. Okay, so you're going to turn in your rough draft this week and I'll be grading those. Also, good news for this week, there are no discussion board postings for this week. We only have them every so often in this course. All right, so that will give you enough to do because you have to work on your project this week. My tip of the week this week is, if you need help, ask for it. That's what I'm here for. If you ever have a question, please ask me. Just email me. Now, sometimes it takes me till the next morning to get back to you because I may have some things going on. But a lot of the time I answer you pretty quickly. So ask me if you need some clarification, if you don't understand something, if you have no clue how to start, whatever it is, just ask me. I am here to help you. So with that being said, I hope that you have a wonderful week number 4. I hope that you're staying warm inside. It's cold and dreary and rainy today here. So hopefully it'll be a better week. I hope that you have a great week.